Yo, good morning, family. What's going on? Actually, hold on. I don't think y'all can hear me. Oh, you can hear me. So, good morning. What's going on, family? How we all feeling? Let me know in the chat. Alright, let me know what you guys are tuning in for. Let me know how you guys are feeling this morning. I'm feeling blessed. I see we got a bunch of you guys already in the chat. You guys are beating the bot in the chat. Sheesh. Okay. I see you, George, Tammy, Kuchaka, Mikhail. I see you. But good morning to the rest of you guys. We're going to let everybody funnel in. We do have news at 8:30, so I'll be back in about 2-3 minutes. Let's vibe out.
Every core computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Alright, what's going on, family? Let me see who we got in the chats. How y'all feeling? Let's see, we got that boy Michael Bauman. We got that boy Alex, top of the morning, my guy. Got Keanu. Alex says, I'm on my way to Charlotte. What you doing today? Honestly, I have some people coming to the house to pour some concrete because we are getting a hot tub. So, yeah, that's that's what I got planned. But yeah, hopefully you travel to Charlotte nice and safe, my guy. Christian, what's going on? Cozy, Alex, Erwin, Tammy, Cozy, what's going on? Anil, Chaka, Carl, who else we got? We got TJ, we got Ron, we got that boy Devin. Devin ready to get a bag? Is that what Devin said? Devin said he got a signal for me? Oh boy, that's what I heard. That's what I read. I read let's get a bag. I heard Devin got a signal for me. What's good morning, family. Good morning. Right? Who else we got in the chat? Drop those locations, family. We're going to get started. Actually, I'm going to tick over real quick and start now because we do have news that's about to pop off here in literally 30 seconds. So, let's take a look because we have PPI data coming out right now, family. Let me just switch off of that and let's take a look because this is popping off, like I said, literally in the next 15 seconds or so. This is about, I mean, there's some other news today, nothing too crazy, but this PPI is going to be probably the most impactful news of the morning, and it is dropping here in about 5 seconds. So we do expect this to probably tick down, to be honest with you. Hold on, family. Where's my water? But let's see what this comes out here, and we'll go over. Yeah, see how it ticked down that negative 0.5 and 0.1% month over month, which is right on forecast, but still lower than previous So I'm sure US dollar pairs are, I mean, theoretically they should be going up. I actually don't have eyes on anything, so I'm not entirely sure if that's true. But this data again continues to be somewhat bearish for the dollar. Again, overall inflation numbers in multiple different sectors kind of now getting. Oh, excuse me. Again, now getting better and better, right? Those inflation numbers consistently coming out slightly better month over month, year over year. And yeah, so that's about all we have for that PPI news. This is stuff that we did expect. Those chimes are the news continuing to pour in case you're wondering what that is. Later in the day, we do have some speeches that are going to go off. There is some more yen news. We'll get into the yen news from yesterday in a moment. You guys know I'm going to have to rant about that stuff. Um, and then we do have some unemployment numbers for the Australian dollar out there as well. So let's tick over real quick and just go take a look at what the US dollar is doing, because obviously there is data that has come out for these. And we're going to just take a look at EU. Like I said, the news is pretty inherently, bearish for the dollar. So let's go see if that's actually what's happening on the charts. We can see our trades from yesterday here, which if you continued to hold, our partial position that remained from yesterday did get taken out. That's not really too much of a big deal. But yeah, the dollar looks like it did have a reaction to the upside. Again, the news coming in, not specifically the greatest, you know, for this, but nonetheless, we'll take a look at this as it settles down in a few moments. I do want to catch up with chat again. Family, let me know too if you guys took profits on these from yesterday. Again, as we talked about, we had two areas for you guys to scale out. One was at this lower 108, and then the second was on the wick fill. And I mean, it gave you two attempts to exit on that wick fill. So, keep in mind with this news that just popped off. Again, we'll see if maybe we could take this same trade today, possibly. I do like this retest to this level. I know Kyle probably already pushed the button over there. Good morning, my bro. Also, good morning to you, Ray. Here, let me make you guys co-host in case y'all want to say something real quick. But I'm going to just check in with chat. Okay, cool. So y'all are good over
What's
there.
good? What's good, man?
Good morning, bro. I just need to know, bro. Did you push the button just now? Because if you did, I need to know.
Nah,
Okay.
nah, nah, I
Okay.
didn't. Cause I don't know about y'all, but if y'all are in some bear trades from USD CAD yesterday, we still flowing on that. So I'm not really too antsy to push the button because I'm flowing on USD CAD. But I am I'm not gonna lie, like I'm very close to pushing the button though.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's cause the news is not too crazy. It's kind of expected. So I'm with you. Like I might I might have to push the button again.
I might have just pushed the button. I don't know.
I mean, if you did, let us know. Let's see who else we got. We got Jamie in the chat, Sativa in the chat, Alana, what's going on? Keanu, right? Eric, good morning. Kim, good morning. Lords, is that the same? That's the same. Eric. I need to give you guys a little bit of nicknames. All these Erics in here. Would you still search for shorts? Yeah, I might. I might honestly, guys. I might continue to look for shorts on these. Now, the problem that I really have with this is this move overnight. You know, because now with this move overnight, we're just kind of continuing to build liquidity here. But we'll give this 5-10 minutes. Let's not stress it. We could always catch something. My boy Ray, you there? You wanna say hi to the chat, my guy, before we get too deep?
Yeah, what's good? What's good, family? Hope everybody's having a great morning. I'm in student mode today because I don't have my usual setup. But yeah, I've actually been holding some trades since yesterday as well. Um, looking at a possibility for a few things, but for the most part, I'm sitting on my hands. I did take a small buy on Euro AUD probably about 5 minutes ago. But outside of that, I'm not, you know, there's always a chance to lose, but I'm just chilling. I'm not going too crazy because I do think it can go up, but I do have my reservations about it as well. So outside of that, it's gonna be a pretty chill morning for me.
Let's go. Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. So let's see what else is going on in chat. Yano says, just took profit on gold. I 200x'd my account in 2 days. That's crazy. Well, you mean two? Okay, hold on. I need clarification. You mean 200% or 200x? Because those are vastly two different things. So if you turn 98 into 300, if that's what I think you mean, then that's 200%. If you 200x'd it, then we're talking a whole different type of type of gain. And correct me, my math might be off, but the 200x on $100 is like a 20k, if not more. If my mind 20 minutes into being awake isn't failing me. So yeah, I hope it's 200x. But that would be a lot to do in 2 days. 200%. Okay, I figured as much. But still, nonetheless, great achievement. Love it. Love to hear it. Is that the trade we took on Sunday, by the way? Is that the shorts we took on Sunday? Me and Abel took them on Sunday? Is that what you just closed out? Because we gave you guys, I pretty much gave you guys 2 bangers so far. We gave you guys the trade on Sunday, which is gold, and to be honest, I don't know if anybody really closed anything, but you would have, this is the setup we were looking at yesterday. We're going to have to go short things. But your entry would have been up here. You might even still be in it. I know I'm still in it because my entry is a little bit higher than what shows here. But I did partial out of this. I will continue to look, 4 shorts today possibly. But if that's the trade you're talking about, then that's lit. GJ Weidlin yesterday, I forgot I had limits in set and got slipped nasty. Yeah, I feel you. $50 account didn't make it. Good morning, Jose. Good morning to the other Eric Molina. Shout out to you, Jude. What's going on? Jamaica, Cozy's already in here, saying I sniped SPF 500. Boy, Cozy always in a trade, man. Leslie Ann, Michael, what's going on? Walter, opinions on GBP USD. We'll take a quick look at everything, guys. Top of the top. Yeah, nah. You're new to the chat, man? Well, welcome to the chat. We'll take a look at GBP USD in just a second, my guy. But guys, I do think I wanna push a button on one of these, cause I feel like they do be ready. Yeah, gold swiped this liquidity, played all the way up here.
Everybody drop them cities in the chat, man. Where y'all tuning in from?
What do you mean, bro? They already dropped. We already went over cities, my guy. How far behind are you? Everybody redrop your city.
I only
for
see
Kyle,
a couple cities, man.
We got slacking.
We got 120 people on this call. I only see like 5 cities, man. Nobody dropped.
If you don't know where these people are tuning in from already, you sleep.
I just want to remember Denmark. See, that's the first time I've seen Denmark. Shout out to you.
Is that Walter?
Nope. We got Jolly.
All right. Well, listen. Kyle is gonna sit there and quietly read all those cities while I try to get you guys paid. But yeah, let's take a look at some of this stuff, guys, because I really do want to get in this stuff sooner rather than later, because this stuff is really gonna kind of move against us if we can't get the proper risk to reward here. So I don't know what I want to take. Let's go take a look at that GU, see if that's any better. No, the GBP remains super strong overnight. Sheesh, what are you doing, GU? Oh, this played right into. Yeah, I'm surprised Kyle didn't push 1,000 buttons this morning already. These all seem like classic Kyle setups, bro. I'm disappointed.
So, I will just alert you guys. I did just get into EU, but I'm running like a 5 pip stop. So it's kind of like I'm playing the 1 minute live OB.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go short on this stuff too, guys. I think my trades are gonna be very simple today. I'm going short right after this PPI news, and I'm going to just hold with my stops at the high, and that's really gonna just be my day. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit higher here on EU. Maybe we can get up here. I'm gonna give it a second, but I am gonna go short on these and look to target below the lows of yesterday. I think I will prefer to stick with EU and gold. I don't think I want to really play with anything that's not them. I don't think I'm going to take GU personally, but I think I will if we get these little pullbacks here, I'm gonna be looking to take these for sure. So I'll let you guys know exactly when I push the button here on gold, but we do want to keep an eye on this.
Yep.
How we need to press
I
the lag,
agree
but
with
he
that.
lagging behind, yeah. That boy Eric, I love it. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna just push the button on gold here, and I'm just gonna run my stop at this.
I pushed the button on EU, so
I'll probably push it on EU as well, but I really do want to get in this gold.
I put my stop on EU guys at 108.74 or 75. Actually, I'm gonna do 75 just to have a 108.75. So
That one pip makes all the difference.
yeah, yeah. So it's really a 20 pip stop at this entry. So yep.
Yeah, I still have yet to push the button on gold. I have a feeling she's just gonna fill this wick, so I'm just being a little careful. I would really prefer to go short right at the wick fill. I would really prefer to short it like right here. That is just a preference. We might not get it, unfortunately, but you know, to each their own. To each their own. Yeah, I just pushed it now. I'm gonna just take it down here. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this. This is my one setup for the day, because what I really want to do, and you guys already know, I want to rant about the Bank of Japan. Just to give you guys some targets on this, though, on gold, I'm still gonna continue to look below this liquidity over here since we were failed to capture it yesterday. I don't know why this never works for me the first time. Still gonna look to capture this liquidity here, so I am gonna be looking at like 1890 for the potential pullback on gold. On EU, again, I'm probably going to look for this deeper wick fill now that we've, again, achieved all these targets from yesterday's signal or alert. So I'm going to look below 107.26. So this is where, again, I don't understand why I have to spam click this and why this is not the right size. So yeah, these are really my trades, family. I'm gonna keep it super simple today. Same trades as yesterday, more or less at the same price. So my entry on EU is more or less around this 108.50 area. Again, targeting 107.25. I will be out of these trades at the same price as Kyle, that 108.75 area, more or less. So that's really all I'm looking at. I mean, there's nothing else that's really gonna catch my eye, since all of these dollar pairs are more or less gonna be the same. Just be prepared, though, for these wicks to fill, right? Just be prepared for some drawdown here. You know, I would expect a maximum drawdown, like, 8 to 12 pips, maybe. Because, again, you guys know I don't like these wicks, because more times than not, they do fill. But, nonetheless, I'm in some positions. You're still in your EU from yesterday? Okay. Hopefully you partialed out, when we said to. Hopefully you followed the plan. But let's talk about GJ, family. Let's talk about what happened yesterday with the Bank of Japan, right? Let's talk about this. You guys can even see the loss that I took yesterday. Right, so yesterday, guys, actually, let's hold on. Let's go to the data. Right, let's go to the data, because I know some people probably weren't paying attention. That's okay. Right, so let me pull up the data real quick. So yesterday, the Bank of Japan, guys, had its interest rate decision. And we talked about this on Sunday, that they were probably going to stay at negative rates, and that we were probably going to look to go short after this had come out. Now, I was actually on the phone with Abel when this popped, and that kind of led to us being like, wow, what is the market doing? Kind of remembered about the yen news, and I kind of jumped into a trade way too early. And the reason I say that is I really didn't look at the thing I wanted to look at, which was the monetary policy statement and the outlook report. And I'm gonna just be honest, these statements and reports that the Bank of Japan put out, I'm gonna just say it, I think they're either lying or they're delusional. But basically what these reports summed up, and I do actually have them open right here. So if we actually open this and we kind of just, actually this is not what I want the outlook report. So let me pull up the outlook report real quick for January 2023. And again, this is just, again, with how the Bank of Japan sees their own economic activity, right? This is literally, they're going to lay out what they see, what they expect, going forward in their economy. And a lot of this, again, talks about, returning back to that pre-COVID stuff. And basically, at this point, I'm convinced the Bank of Japan is just copying and pasting this document every time they release it. I feel like they just never change anything. It's like they literally just copy, paste, change the date, and drop it, because it's really been the same. But if we come down to the bottom here, right, the really only important part, again, so as for the conduct of monetary policy, the bank will continue with quantitative easing, with yield curve control. Again, money printing is basically what they're saying here, aiming to achieve the price stability target of 2% as long as it is necessary for maintaining that target, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to continue doing this, right? It will continue expanding the monetary base until the year-on-year rate and increased observed CPI for all items besides fresh food exceeds 2% and stays above the target in a stable manner. Now, they really don't define what they mean by above the target in a stable manner, right? You can make a lot of assumptions on what they mean by that. They're also very specifically talking about the year-on-year rate, which is also something important, right? Because sometimes we look at month-over-month data, which may be doing one thing, but the rest of it is kind of not. So just kind of taking a look at like this information here, again, it's very obvious that the Bank of Japan is leaning towards this quantitative easing, to money printing, keeping rates negative. But if we actually look again what they're saying, right, they keep talking about this 2% level, and I really just don't believe that they're going to achieve this. Now, if we look at their outlook report down here, right, here's their forecast, and we're gonna remember they're looking at CPI, all items less than fresh food, right? So here's their forecasts on literally their CPI. And for 2023, they expect this to be between 1.6 and 1.8, right? For 2020, like they really just, in their eyes, they just see this not holding above, right? For 2022, we know that it upticked above this 2%, but they're still saying, nah, but the middle of 2023, this will just be back to the way it was. We know this is not true, right? So we know that in December, right, they hit 41 year highs with a 4% CPI. Now, again, is this year over year? Is this holding stable above 2%? No, but are we above the 2%? Yes. So like when they put stuff out like this, either they're lying or they're just delusional, because again, they're sitting at 41 year high inflation numbers, right? And we can only expect this is going to continue to get worse. So I don't see where the Bank of Japan is getting the idea that their 41 year high inflation is going to just magically turn around while they're still printing money and keeping rates negative. I don't see where the logic is coming in on this. Maybe I could be the one that's wrong. I could be the one that's wrong. I don't think I am. I just think the Bank of Japan, much like the Fed, is just, again, trying to call it transitory, trying to just say, oh, it's okay, until it gets to a point where it's very clearly not going to be okay. So yeah, I know a lot of people probably were in the field of, where I was yesterday, was like basically looking at shorts after that news release. But what the traders were betting on were these numbers to go above that 2%, right? That the Bank of Japan was finally going to realize that their inflation is maybe out of control. Now, since they didn't put that information out, a lot of activity happened in the market, right? So if we just switch back to TradingView, we can see that because of the way the report came out, all the trading activity that happened last week that was expecting this outlook report to, basically assume that inflation was going to continue running, got immediately wiped out. And again, I still think that an aggressive move like this, and again, this is just my opinion, I still think it's just fake. I just think it's fake. It's not real. I don't think it's worthwhile. I don't think it's a sentiment change. I don't think anything other than the fact that this, just on a very technical level, wanted to take out these highs and just play inside of this liquidity pocket. So I did take an L by jumping the gun a little too early yesterday. But as you guys know me, I don't let that sway me. I really dove into that report, and I was like, yeah, you know what? These guys are either delusional or lying. So I actually ended up going short more once we kind of cleared these highs. So I have a bunch of shorts just sitting up here. that I continue to hold. I know you guys probably aren't in with me. I know a lot of you probably were wondering what I was going to think about this move. But yeah, I think it's fake. I think by the end of the week, we'll be trading back below here. If not by maybe hopefully today, maybe tomorrow. So yeah, I remain long-term bearish these yen pairs. I refuse to believe that the Bank of Japan is correct. I did get taken out of these. I partialed out. That's fine. You guys know my main positions are up at 169. So yeah, I'm just kind of looking at holding that. But I see we got the boy Abel on here. Abel, you want to say anything, bro? You have anything to add specifically to this Bank of Japan news, or just to say what's up to the chat?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very interesting with the policies that they're continuously going to implement. But this is what I'm thinking about too, right? I know you're still very much going to remain fair side to the end. Where for me, based off of this type of belief and just based off how the market is reacting to it, I don't know. It's tough to try to go against, what's happening right now, right? It's hard to expect yen strength when they clearly are outlining that they're not going to stop with anything, that they're going to continue to hold rates extremely low, negative territory. So it's very hard to actually try to fight the data that they're literally stating on paper that they're going to continue to do. So with that being said, for me, I'm probably not going to be looking to short any type of yen pairs. I need to see how the market reacts. I need to just go ahead and collect a little bit more data before I make any type of risk decision like that. That's rarely going to be short again. Literally what the bank is actually saying, what they're already planning on doing. That they're saying it back. This is what we're going to do. We're going to continue printing. We're going to continue keeping our rates low. So why continue to fight that is my main question, right? So, I mean, what do you think about that? What do you think about that
Yeah,
question right there? Why
I
try to
know.
fight it when on paper we know what they're doing on paper? So why try to fight it?
Yeah, no, and it was a little hard for them to hear, so I'm just gonna recap what you said. But what he's basically saying is, based off of what they're saying, right, that it's hard to fight this kind of data, right? Because as the Bank of Japan is continuing to say they're gonna keep rates low, and that it's not a problem, and this and that, it's hard to fight. So he wants to see a little bit more actual like confirmation before he jumps into anything. I know it's a little bit hard to hear him, guys. I think he might be on mobile right now. It's okay. He'll get with us soon. But I'm gonna just recap again. So, for him, he just wants to see more data come into this market before he completely commits to it. He thinks I'm a little bit on the crazy side, which, as you guys know, I enjoy. But I also do agree with him, right? Because it can be hard to do what I'm doing and just kind of go against the data. Because if you're going to go strictly off the fundamentals that were released, it is very negative for the yen, right? It is. That's why you got the reaction that you did. But I would argue, and again, this is just again my point of view, but like their stance is the same as it was basically all throughout here, right? It's basically like all like we've been like they haven't said anything new in their policy statement since like all of this action up here. So it's like the story remains unchanged, but the data tells a different story. So it's kind of like, again, I compare it to when the Fed kept saying that inflation is transitory, inflation is transitory, inflation is transitory, and it just kept saying that over and over and over, and it just wasn't the truth. It was not transitory. And I think that's just what the Bank of Japan is doing too. It's like, maybe it's not at a level where they dictate that it's like actually bad enough, which is fair. Okay, cool. Maybe it's not time to publicly say, that things are maybe, not what they should be. But with the inflation numbers continuing to tick up, I just don't see the reality of this. And I've been talking about this since their inflation was below 2%. We started talking about this when their inflation was like 1.7. And now we hear at 4%, and their story is still the same. So I just refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. I've been telling you guys that, again, regardless of what the Bank of Japan says, I will remain bearish these pairs. So, yeah, again, there's a little bit of a divergence between us as educators on what we believe. But, again, for me personally, I love that we kind of swiped out these highs from last week. we didn't quite get that wick fill that boy Eric been waiting for, and I know he might even still be waiting for it. But I was kind of waiting for it yesterday as we were up here. I was like, yeah, just fill that wick so I can just go degenerate on this thing. But we didn't quite get that, so I had to grab a few late entries. But again, the reaction off of here has been nice. I mean, like, look, if this gets back below this news move, you really gotta question the legitimacy of the news. It's like, what, like, was that news like? It's not what the market was expecting. That's for sure. And again, that's why you get this shock move. But like, if it was serious, the big money would have sustained it. They wouldn't have just let it die the first time that they stopped all the people out from last. Like, they literally wrote articles saying that this dip was because people were anticipating a Bank of Japan shift. So how funny is it that when the release comes out that all the people that were up in this range, us included by the way, were taken out of those positions, and then now we're very smoothly erasing the news move. So again, for me, it's tough. It's tough for me to sit here and believe the words out of their mouth. So yeah, listen. I personally remain bearish these pairs. That's just me. I know you guys are gonna want to hear me rant about it. That's my rant. I think they're lying. I think they're delusional. I think by the end of the week we'll be trading lower. And if I'm wrong, so be it. That's the risk I take in the markets, and you guys know I'm perfectly willing to accept that risk.
I mean, another thing that I want to bring up as well, and I don't know if they'll still be able to hear me because I am actually.
No, you're. It sounds way better now.
All right, perfect, right? So another thing that you also have to keep in mind, right? Like, I get you keep on bringing up the point, bro, that their inflation is at 4%, blah, 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 right? It is high as it's been in a while. But we're only talking about a 2% difference in inflation from where they actually want to be. All right. So they're probably looking at it in a sense like, man, our inflation is still very, very low. Yeah, it's high as it's been in the past couple, few decades, but it's still very, very low to where it's not uncontrollable, comparing it to like other major economies, right? Where the US obviously went all the way up to around 9%. The UK is still at 10%, right? The EU, the Eurozone is still at around 9%. All that stuff literally came out today as well. So they're probably just comparing their inflation and how not as aggressive it is, and coupling that, and they're probably combining that with low, only 2% increase in inflation while interest rates still being extremely low. So in their eyes, they're probably looking at it like, oh man, yeah, this isn't too bad, because if it does get even too crazy, all we got to do is, do a little bit of a rate hike and it's going to immediately drop back down, right? So they have a lot more control in their behalf because of how their inflation is, because one little rate hike is going to immediately stop the demand for goods and services, right? So it's going to be a lot more easier for them to actually go ahead and fight this thing. So that's why I think they're being the way that they're being, where they're not trying to jump the gun, you could say, and they're just relying on their data. But again, it is very interesting to see though what actually does happen, because like you mentioned, right, the US was saying the same thing a year and a half ago, right? A year ago, like, oh no, it's fine, it's not going to go nowhere. And then it just completely shattered where they thought it was going. But I don't know. I just like to compare the economies. I like to compare, how inflation has been and how it's going, and just try to look for, information through the lines to figure out what can really, really happen, right? But at the end of the day, only time will tell what does end up happening. But I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough.
no,
For me
I agree with you, bro. I mean, we talked about it yesterday too. If we take a look at their inflation numbers, even at 4%, right? Like, our inflation is still higher than that, right? So it's like they're. I mean, if you look at it from a global perspective, yeah, their inflation. I mean, if you compare it to other major central banks, they're really not fighting the same fight. Again, I do believe they're lagging multiple months behind, which is why, because they stick with that QE for a little bit longer. And again, their economy is a little bit different over there. We talk about this all the time. The culture in Japan is very different. They don't have a spending problem over there. They have a saving problem. So the economy is definitely built a little bit different. But again, like, as long as I see their CPI continue to go up, it's I'm gonna keep making this bet, because again, now we're at 41-year highs, right? Where have we heard that story from? Again, here in the U.S. So I think as inflation does, like, there's gonna be an inflection point, right? And we kind of talk about this. There's always like some sort of like weird like inflection point, right? Where the inflation in Japan will eventually surpass what it is here, because ours is on the decrease and theirs is on the increase. So there will be a point where we do shift. And again, when that shift happens and the Bank of Japan begins to pivot, I'm telling you guys, these opportunities won't be here, right? You won't be able to short GJ at certain levels. Like, it'll already be below that 150 liquidity, and trading it'll be a little bit more difficult. So I love the different perspectives that we have, because again, we both make very great points, and it is a tough thing to trade, you know, because again, you either have to trade purely off the released fundamentals and sentiment, which is basically what Abel is doing, or you have to be in the world of rumors, or is where I operate. Whereas, like, the things that I'm playing, the reasons I'm short GJ don't technically fully exist yet. So again, like, there's a lot of you know, tentative nonsense that comes with the way that I trade. But yeah, you know, I mean, I'm in profits on these. You know, all my entries are kind of stacked up here. They're all set at break even. And again, once we erase this news move, I'll have more confidence. But Abel makes a lot of very great points that, again, you guys definitely should have, you know, in your notebooks in the back of your head, if you are going to trade these pairs, you know, with me. With that being said, let's go take a look at what EU and gold are doing, because I'm pretty sure they're not doing anything great. Yeah, so see, this filled the wick. I knew I should have just waited for the wick fill. Guys, let me get some RIPs in the chat for me not waiting for my confirmations, because sometimes I should just wait. But nonetheless, it's got me in like 4 pips of drawdown on MT4. How many am I visualizing here? What's my entry on MT4?
I mean, it's looking like gold is gonna just start dropping from here, even though you're in some drawdown.
Yeah,
just hodl, bro.
Yeah, again, they filled the wick, so I'm not surprised. However, my entry on gold is like here, and I did run my stops above. I did use 1930, because you guys remember, I'm also along these markets, so for me, I can extend my stop a little bit. You guys, again, might want to play in the area. I mean, to be honest with you, the safest thing is above this high, because anywhere below this, and like there's still like liquidity to be grabbed that you can kind of fall suspect to. But yeah, let me catch up with chat real quick and see.
I do want to mention too, EU just made a 5-minute live OB, so you know what that means.
Let's go see. Let's see if there's an actual 5-minute live OB.
That means stack up. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we have a little bit different of definitions of live OBs, but the OB on the OB is nice. Like, you guys see how you have the order block here, and then a new order block formed on it. So yeah, if you guys want to, join us in shorts, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm running my stop at 7.5 just because that's what I ran it as. But technically, if you wanted to, you know, play with the best risk to reward ratio, you could, you know, just use this high. But I'm gonna use 7.5 because I'm not that particular about it. What does it mean? Order block is a fancy word for protected price action. It basically means that price, theoretically, again, remember, because a lot of things in trading is just theory, is that you know, that is basically the high of the day. An order block should be protected price action, meaning that price won't move. So if you are taking this EU trade, your stop loss would be 108.75, and again, we're targeting below, you know, lower 107s. There were some questions in chat, though. Let me just go back real quick. Let's see. Skag, the fact that GJ didn't get a spike in buy volume with the news. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go over that because, again, I don't know who's on the call that actually knows a lot about that as well. But if you do come out and you look at, like, the buy volume, there was decent buy volume in it. It doesn't really supersede a bunch of the other volume, and again, we didn't break any structure, so yeah, that does add fuel to the fire, that like this is not, you know, a sustainable thing. And again, it's very easily just moving back down. So again, like I have no reasons to personally close my shorts. But yeah, you're right. The volume is, if you're trading like I trade, another indication that, you know, maybe that rally doesn't hold. Rest in peace, bro. Patience. Yeah, nah, I feel you. I just sniped euro dollar 108.665. I'm break even. You were on break even already? You guys love going break even early, huh? That's fair enough, I guess. I mean, you 665. I mean, you really sniped it. But see, again, look, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back and knock you out just for the fun of it. Cool. Kyle, you have any charts you want to go over, bro? You want to break down USD CAD, maybe?
Man, I'm so close to getting in the short, but like I'm already short EU, so I
Bro,
don't
show us, bro.
know.
Let's show us what you see. Let me see.
So to be honest, I was looking at this. One second. I'm already short from up here, but you know, as the as the time goes by, I am looking obviously to add entries to this. I'm not sure if this is the opportunity or not, but you know, I was in this trade to be honest. Kind of whacked me out, I'm not gonna lie. I had a short right here earlier this morning, like right before the news, and then gave some profit, and then I had moved break even a little bit too early, I'm not gonna lie, because I saw this reaction and I was like, man, I'm not even gonna risk holding EU sells and UCAD sells. So this is something that I'm not even sure will play out. So I'm not even gonna bother with it today. But I am still short UCAD from up here. And honestly, this did look like a good entry, but again, I didn't take it, guys. So I'm not gonna tell you guys to take it. To be honest, I am just still targeting these lows. So let's see if we get it. That's why I'm shorting EU still, because we do have the possibility to not run those highs and come up and feel some inefficiency up here. So whatever the dollar decides to do, I'm gonna continue to hold UCAD. So, I'm in a position where if the dollar decides to just keep melting and melting and melting and give no retracement, then UCAD will definitely serve me well. But if not, I'm still in this EU trade. We got the 5 minute little live OB right here. I know Skag said, his definition of a live OB is a little different. This is really just an engulfing candle, to be honest. I like to call it that. So just know I just like this engulfing candle. If it does break, to be honest, my confidence in this trade will go down if we break this candle. But obviously I won't close out until we get our stop hit. And just know that, you know, we're in this trade as well. So the stop does hit, then, our stop gets hit as well. So we're going to still remain to hold EU. Like I said, I'm hoping USD CAD comes back up so I could, feel a little bit better about missing that entry right here. But if you caught that, I'm sure there's probably some people in the chat that caught that. Shout out to you. Like I said, I'm still going to remain bearish on UCAD, and we will catch an entry later on this week. I just want to see some more data print on the chart, to be honest. There's not enough data for me to warrant just pushing the button today. So, yeah, we're in a kind of a weird scenario on UCAD. We're just consolidating. It could either form into accumulation, or it can simply just be redistribution, right? That's something that we do got to keep in mind. We do not want to get faked out. This could be accumulation, but like I said, it could also just be a redistribution to continue going down. So we need some more data. We need some more data to warrant another entry. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for UCAD. If you did catch that entry, I would say hold it, because I didn't. It was a little tricky morning. But to be honest, if we do get this little 15-minute live OB and we do close like this, then maybe I'll tell you guys to get in something. But to be honest, it's not really like something that's I'm itching to get in from this level. If you're in from the 34415 level, then yeah, I would continue to hold. But like I said, I'm not really too antsy of getting in during the middle of this range until I get a little bit more confirmation. But yeah, I would say wait on that, guys. And like I said, if we do close like this, then you can take a trade like this running a stop above this candle. And I'll let you guys know if I take it. I'm not taking it quite yet. Like I said, I'm waiting for some more confirmation. But yeah, that's a scenario we're on USD CAD. We're in this consolidation range, and we're waiting to see if we can break out and possibly make some moves and see where this thing is going. Take a look at EU.
That's a fact. Let me see real quick what we got in the chat. Stepped away for a second. Let's see. This is the thing Skag warned me about with the swings. Yeah, bro. There's when you're swinging, bro. There's always going to be these moments where the market wants to come against you for a week, 2 weeks. So be it. I shorted holding your golden euro USD. Let's see. We already went over. That means press the button. I sent my signal earlier, but I told you buy NASDAQ. Deal with my guy. What are your thoughts on quarter levels? I don't believe in them. Still holding from Friday. Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie. I like
someone-
quarter levels.
They don't. Yeah, that's to each their own. Quarter levels are like random line theory, and if you don't know what random line theory is, it just means that you could drop a line anywhere on your chart, and at some point in time, it's gonna act as support and resistance.
He's
Every
right about
price
that.
everywhere.
He's
Same
right
thing with
about that.
quarter
It is a
theory.
random line theory, but don't ever just use it as just a strategy on its own. I'll say add it to your confirmations of like whatever candle you're playing. Sometimes I play the flat level, just little shit like that. That's what I use quarter levels for.
I would say, yeah, I would just tell you to not even use them. Like if you're like if something's playing at your zone, you have your checklist confirmations anyway. The fact that something's at 1.25 or it ends in 25 or 50, like I don't know. Like if you're gonna like equal levels are like one thing. Like if you're looking at major levels like parity on the euro, yeah, there's obviously a lot of liquidity there, and like quarter theory really just is based off the fact that again like. It's like me. Like when I'm trading, I generally don't include like the last two numbers, right? Like I'm gonna use 7.5. I'm not gonna use like 7.532. Like, So it's just again, I don't think it holds a lot of weight to be executing off. So when someone tells me, please, we're supposed to be in. I mean, we are in these trades. I mean, I said it clearly before. I am in EU and I am in gold. Of course, no one wants to answer me. I mean, I answer everything in the chat, my guy. You just gotta, remain a little patient. As we're breaking stuff down, you got to keep in mind we don't always have eyes on chat. But yeah, we are already. I'm already in these trades. Kyle was going over USD CAD. That was not a trade that he was ready to jump into yet. But we always tell you guys when we're getting in and when we're getting out. And if you're new to the stream, I may understand that. But cool. So let's see. Go testing the high. We got the boy Saucing on the stream now. Let's go. Just got here. What's good, bro? What's my longest losing streak? I mean, in terms of trades, I've went on like a 20 whatever losing streak. But I mean, that was like playing really degenerate stuff. That's not like an average losing streak. On average, I'd probably say my losing streaks would maybe be like at most 6 to 9 because after 3 losses on a single pair, I put that pair aside and then I'll move on to something else. So if I'm really off my game and I lose on like 3 different pairs 3 times in a row, yeah, I could hit like 6, 9 in a row. And at that point, I would just end up taking a week, 2 weeks off. This EU doesn't look like it wants to work out, though, to be quite honest with you guys. I know I said that same thing yesterday and then it ended up dropping, but like really today, especially after the move from yesterday and this liquidity grab and the failed reaction, I really don't think this is working. Interesting. Okay. Dev up a bag right now. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. We haven't even really looked at NASDAQ. Let's take a look at what that's doing. Yeah, this opens in about 15 minutes. Still creeping up. Hopefully you guys are still holding these entries that we took like what's now 2 weeks ago. Because this really hasn't given us any sort of re-entry. Again, like this hasn't broken structure anywhere. Continues to compress to the upside. So again, this is why I also believe that we'll end up taking that loss on EU because this stuff is just looks like it's compressing. And if you don't know what I mean by compressing, we're gonna go take a look at gold, right? It's like basically the same thing where we're happening, and some news just popped off at 9:15. But it's like the same thing that happens here, right? You never really break structure. You keep kind of pushing up, pushing up, pushing up until eventually you explode to the upside. So NASDAQ, again, looking like the same thing. It just refuses to break any structure, refuses to get any sort of corrective move. And it does, again, as you guys know, we are still looking to target this like 12,800 area. So again, this is looking more and more achievable by the day. And all you guys had to do was hold this trade. It didn't really require you to do anything else. If I'm gonna play this today, which again I don't think I will. Yeah, there's a bunch of news popping off. 1 second, let me just go see. Let me close these tabs real quick, so that just stops happening. Okay. I still wouldn't. I wouldn't want to play this until we get a liquidity grab. So for me, like again, like all of this is just very obvious. At some point, it'll break. If the compression doesn't break it, then I just have no trade. But I'm not gonna be executing in this type of environment where we have no sweeps of no lows, continuously pushing higher. I mean, we had a lot of buy volume just this morning, and again, we haven't really went anywhere yet. So I'm gonna still sideline NASDAQ personally. That's just me personally. So let's see what we have real quick. How often do we go live? So our live stream schedule is actually going to change after this week, because after we have our masterclass on Friday, we're doing a masterclass. So if you guys have not signed up for that, make sure you guys go grab your free seat for that. But after next week, what's going to happen is we will be live a little bit later in the day. So we'll be live a little bit after the New York session. So probably around like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And from there, we will continue. Somebody said EU stop loss hit. Did it? Yeah, it did. Of course. All right. Yeah. I mean, so be it. Like I said, that trade probably wasn't going to work out. So there's my second loss of the year to my face. But yeah, that's basically what we got. I still remain in gold, obviously, with my stops at 1930, but I am out of EU at that 108.75. I'm curious what data just popped off, because that seems like it might be news related as well, because I know I heard those dings. Let's see, what did we have at 9:15? Oh yeah, the manufacturing production, industrial production. Yeah, it's been some soft data, USD news, that's feeding into that PMI. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, we can't win them all, family. Y'all know that. So it took a little 0.5% loss. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, on EU too, again, that's what I talked about. Like, you have this continuous liquidity build up here. So I wouldn't be surprised now if we've actually captured, if we do maybe fall off. Again, it's going to be pertaining to what I think, you know, gold ends up doing here. But I'm going to just continue to ride out gold. I'm not going to take any sort of re-entries on EU. If gold decides to move, it'll very easily cover the loss on EU. So I'm not going to stress myself out about it too much. You know, the 20 pip loss, I'll take it to the face. Honestly, now I'm looking to short again. Pound dollar, just swept the CB on the daily. I'm waiting for entry candle. Let's take a look real quick. Yeah, this is still kind of equal highs, though. I don't know if this works out for you. The pound also had some news overnight, too, that I wasn't paying attention to, so this might have a little bit more strength to it than I think. Let me just clean up some of this lower time frame stuff. Yeah, again, this is not a valid CB by most degrees. You would actually even almost call this like an actual order block. It's, I mean, annoyingly, it's under the wick, so for me, it's like, I try not to call it that, but yeah, the wipe of this candle, it might, but for me, again, this is not a CB. A CB has to live inside of like somewhere like here. I've explained that a couple of times to you guys. That's gonna get ran through, yeah. I believe so as well. Kind of why I went break even, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. I never got the opportunity to go break even on EU, so again, I'm not gonna be salty about it. You know, would we take a 22 pip loss? I mean, yesterday we captured what? I exited like here in this noise, and then I actually ended up taking another sell with Able here, which I had to close after the yen news. So yeah, I'm not really too concerned about it. If it does come back down again, you guys can continue to play it. I'm gonna focus on gold though. I'm gonna just keep my focus on gold here, because again, gold is still playing inside of its range. It's not playing and flirting with new highs. So I'm gonna just keep the trade that I have open on this, and basically go from there.
Hey yo, guys, I'm selling UCAD.
Share your chart so you can show them.
Bet.
And yo, Kyle, keep the screen for a little bit. I gotta step away.
Hey, go ahead, go ahead. So, yo, we're gonna get it back in blood, family. Honestly, I was tripping. I don't know what's up. Honestly, I've been bearish on UCAT for so long. I don't know why, I just started second guessing myself. But let's go ahead and get it back. We got the 15-minute live OB presenting itself here. Perfect opportunity. I'm on the 5-minute. Now I'm on the 1-minute. Look at this, guys. We have like a 5-6 pip stop loss. Let me put a bigger risk on this, to be honest, because this is such a good risk to reward. I have to take this with a 5-6 pip stop loss. Like, it only makes sense, especially since we're going to continue bearish dollar for the day. Might as well. Now, if you feel a little bit more comfortable taking it with a 10 pip stop loss, this would be like the more comfortable risk, putting your stop above this little 15-minute thing. But I like the 1 minute. To be honest, I like this. I like this a lot. It's moving in profit as we speak. I really want to get you guys into this, man, because I don't like how EU's been doing me all week, and like I gotta get it back. Now I don't, and it's not like me trading emotionally or anything. Like, this is my pair. I'm very confident on it. And let's just see how it plays out. Obviously, users management, guys, literally like a 5 pip, 10 pip stop loss. So you shouldn't be risking more than that. And the 9:30 open is coming out in like 7 minutes. So like we have a lot of confirmations on this. We got our higher time frame confirmation on this. We got, lower time frame confirmation. We got time and price. We got even like I said, I'm not really too confident in the accumulation, but I am confident in the fact that this could be a redistribution, especially after the news today, especially after me getting stopped on EU. This is why I tell you guys that like losses aren't really bad, because it helps you get a more better, like, it helps you wake up, to be honest. Helps you like realize like, damn, all right, let me follow what I know and what I can do. But yeah, it's literally 10 pips. Go ahead, put your little 0.5% on that. Don't risk more than 0.5%, because I'm not risking more than 0.5%. Keep that in mind, family. And yeah, let's go ahead and rock out. I'll update you guys on this trade as such. And yeah, this is your trade. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Once we break this low, that's a 1 to 5. And yeah, I will definitely update you guys as such. I'm just gonna let this play out for the next 7 minutes or so until the open comes out. Definitely efficiently moving. This is the more of the safer. I'm also dropping it in the Profit Society too. So shout out to you guys that have already signed up for the Profit Society. If you haven't, go to profitsociety.co/launch right now. Sign up. Tell your friends, tell your family members, tell everybody. Like, literally, you guys are going to see this community globally. This is a community that's going to make a global impact. And you guys, sooner or later, your favorite traders, your favorite like influencers that you guys know in the entrepreneurship space, not only just in the trading space. I'm talking about trading. Yeah, your favorite traders will be using this platform, but I'm talking about entrepreneurs, big ecom guys, big affiliate marketers are going to be hosting on the Profit Society. So, it only makes sense to you sign up now, get in early, especially while it's still free. We are launching on Friday, so go ahead and get that spot locked in. For our webinar on Friday only has limited seating. So if you don't go on this link right here and you don't reserve your spot, we cannot guarantee you a spot on the webinar. So look at these great fellas, Mr. Abel and Ray, very professional, very sharp, very, very knowledgeable, and will give you all the value you need to become a six-figure trader within the next 12 months. That's our goal for all of you guys, to make sure that you guys end this year off as a six-figure trader, right? It's very possible. Your life can change within one instant, within one trade even. I'll never forget, I was 16 years old, trading. I had to use the bathroom. I told my teacher, it was what was it? It was FOMC news. And my teacher wasn't letting me use the phone. And I was getting tight because I needed to trade that session. I needed to trade the FOMC. So I went to the bathroom. As soon as I got into the bathroom, the Wi-Fi started lagging crazy because the bathroom had no Wi-Fi. So I had to just walk around the school just pretending like I was just like doing something. But I was really just trading FOMC. And I'll never forget, I had made like 10 bands that day. And it was one trade. You guys never know that one trade that could like really get you that bag that could really change your life. And that bag could really set you up for financial freedom. So, that's what we want to teach you guys how to do. We have a lot of people that's been eating with us for the last 6 months. The testimony will speak for itself. Go to profitsociety.co/launch. And USD CAD is bussing. Drop a $ in the chat if you guys are in USD CAD. Like, honestly, I really should just start only trading USD CAD because I feel like I only lose when I trade other stuff. I'm not gonna get too hype yet, but with that being said, I feel like that's just where I get in my zone on USD CAD. Like I really hope you guys are in this with me as well, because it would be really sad if you guys weren't. There we go. We got the $ in the chat.
Yeah, I need USD CAD to do something because, as you
Oh,
know,
Ray, you're in the trade too, man. Welcome to the gang.
yeah, but you know I'm in some longs from yesterday, so at this point,
Oh, so Ray is trading against this today.
but yeah, I mean I took it a while ago, so I mean it went like 60 pips in my direction, so I mean it was semi right, but right now it's kind of like 20 pips above my entry, so it retraced a good portion of the move already. So I'm just ready for it to do something. I don't even care at this point. It's like I just need to get it over with because it's the whole reason why I trade smaller time frames anyway. Because I don't like waiting multiple days to know the outcome. Like even if I hold a trade for a week or two, I want the majority of my profit to be solidified within a day or two. So I'm at a point right now where it's like I don't even care if it loses. I just need to hurry up and get it over with so I can move on to the next pair. But yeah, man, I definitely see what you see as well. The only reason I'm still holding is just because I'm doing my best to be disciplined. But considering how it, came back to my entry, typically I would already have my trade at break even, but I've been working on, being a little more patient with moving to break even because a lot of times, it'll hit my break even and then reverse. So I'm actually holding my original stop loss and I'm just going to take it as it is, So, I want to see it do something. So I'm pretty much tired of waiting on it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if USD CAD doesn't do anything today, like I'm probably gonna be like, done for the week, because it needs like the market is moving okay, but I feel like it needs to like the dollar is dropping like as we speak. crazy. And it's like, why isn't USD Cat doing that? So, I mean, I'm still in these shorts from up here. We're playing ping pong. You're in the longs from down here. I'm in the shorts from up here. One will win very soon. And I hope it's the shorts because we are in the shorts. So, I know you're in the longs, bro. So, I'm sorry I have to I have to hope for the shorts today.
It's all good,
All
man.
right, we actually got the indices open here. I'm gonna just take a quick look.
Go ahead, my brother.
Let me just share here too, so you guys just know what I'm looking at. I'm sorry I haven't been doing that today. So let's see here. Yeah, these just, again, these refuse to pull back for us. That boy Devin might be might have sniped the only entry you could have taken today on this. If that boy Devin is even still in it. But yeah, these, again, guys, these do remain bullish. I still remain bullish on these. I still continue to hold long. I'm not gonna make any adjustments. I was hoping to see if the open would maybe have came down to grab some sort of liquidity below here, maybe, that we could have played. But in this instance, again, I'm not going to chase the market for just no reason here. So I think for today we just let the indices kind of rock. Did anybody answer Eric's question in the chat? Is the webinar something that's recorded? Did anybody answer that? No? I'm gonna assume no. So Eric, I'm gonna just answer this in case they didn't. But so the webinar, technically, yes, will be recorded, but I will let you guys know we are doing a giveaway on that webinar, on that masterclass. So we will be giving away an entire year with the Profit Society. So basically $1,400 worth of value. So you can only obviously win that if you're live with us on that call, if you're on that call throughout that day. But yeah, if you absolutely 1,000% need a replay, one will technically be emailed to you. But I highly encourage you guys to hop on that live so we could get you that chance to win. You feel me? I don't want you to miss out for no reason. It does look like Naz is, again, still making up its mind here in the first 5 minutes. Nice rejection off that top. Again, I have no interest in really short selling this, so I'm not gonna sit here and try to chase anything with this. That's for sure. But if this does pull back nice, maybe we can get an additional buy entry later in the week, and that's really what I'm hoping for. I really want to get more people in these longs with us. Ultimately, I would like to see a pullback to this 11,200 area, which I know is a lot of points. People probably looking at that like, boy, that's like 400 points. But ideally, that's where I would want to buy. I would want to buy under these kind of like old news wicks. But obviously, for that to happen, we need this to even have a down day at all. So, I'm going to just take what the market gives me. And if the market doesn't want to give me that pullback and it just wants to let me ride out these longs, then, so be it. Again, this is why we trade in the areas that we trade, and we don't worry about it when it's in the middle of a range, right? Because much like Kyle's USD CAD, this is kind of just sitting in the middle of the range here. Like, this is not ideally the place that you want to really be playing at. So, with just that in mind, that's what I see on NASDAQ here. I'm not going to play with it. I know some of the scalpers are probably already on the move 5 minutes in the market. Dev said I didn't get in. I haven't traded this week. I'm taking a break and doing some other things to get my mind right. I'll say that, bro. Let's go, a little mental break. I love it. Yeah, you don't have to trade every week, family. That's good. Love to hear it. Somebody wanted Ray's thoughts on AUD CAD. I don't think Ray has his full setup, so yeah, he had to get off. He's doesn't have his full setup right now, so he might not be able to do actual chart analysis. 20 Pip Savage wants to know your longest losing streak, if you know it, Kyle, and probably even Abel. I mean, he asked for Kyle and Ray, but
So longest losing streak in terms of percentage or trades?
No, I think he means like back-to-back trades.
Oh, I mean, I would say maybe like 10. Like, it's not uncommon to go through a string of losses. Like, it's definitely not uncommon. Now, I mean, has it been recently? Not this year. No. I haven't lost 10 in a row this year, so you know, I'm doing pretty well so far, but let's not jinx it. What about you, Skaggs?
I mean, I told him before. I technically my longest losing streak is like 27, and that's when I was trying to scalp AU with like 2 pip stop losses one day. I kept just trying to, yeah, do some degenerate stuff with like 30, 40, 50 lots on an FTMO account, and it just wasn't what wasn't the wave. But that was like I don't even know now. I mean, geez, that must be like that's got to be 3.5, 4 years ago. Again, though, my average losing streak is between 6 and 9 losses because that's the way my money management plan is set up. Right? I've told you guys, I take 3 losses on something. I put it off my watch list. Right? You guys know I don't look at oil right now. Why? Because oil's got me 3 times. So I'm letting oil kind of work out its thing for a couple of weeks, then I'll go back to oil. So like as per my plan, like you can't like I can't really take that many losses. Like Devin just said, Devin is going through like a break right now. If I take 6 losses in a row, or even if I extend that to like my max of 9, at that point I'm taking a week, 2 weeks off from the market to realign myself. Right? Some of you guys go on these crazy lose streaks. Maybe you lose like 5 in a row, 10 in a row, 12 in a row, and instead of stopping, you keep trying to enter the market more and more and more, and that just extends your losing streak. When I had my 27 loss streak, that's exactly what happened. Is I kept trying to get the money back, get the money back, get the money back, and kept trying to play those low time frame nonsense, and that's how I got to that point. But now I have stuff in my plan that doesn't even allow me to get to that point, assuming that I'm following my plan. There's the days where emotions are running so much that maybe that's not even a possibility for you. But yeah, that's again, strings of losses happen, strings of wins happen. You guys know me. I've been on fire. I've been on fire since like September, October. I fully expect my winning streak to kind of come. That's what I'm saying. Like I took that GJ loss. That was my first like real loss besides maybe the oil trade. So oil was my like the only trade I took a loss on, since like September, October. So you're talking like I was on my game for like 4 months. Like I fully expect, there to be a week where the market just smacks me around. You know, it's just the law of averages, right? You can't just keep smacking it without the market coming back to humble you a little bit. So, I really been.
One thing I'll mention too is like I bet you like the 10, 20 losses for us is like damn near equivalent to like 3, 4 losses for some of you guys because we know how to risk and money
Yeah,
manage.
the risk management matters too. Like, let me ask this to chat, right? There's 125 people on the live stream right now, so I expect a lot of answers, right? And I mean, if you're not subbed and you can't type in the chat, well, then hit that sub button, whenever you get value. But listen, if you, I want to just ask you guys, right? Could you, following your risk management plan, actually take 20 straight losses in a row? Right? Could your account actually even handle that? Who wouldn't be subbed? I don't know, Eric. I mean, listen, I don't I don't make the rules, man. Right? So let me know. Let me know. Could you actually even take 20% in a row? And I get it. You guys are like, "Oh, well, 20 times 2 is like 40%." So I still have some money. That's not the same, right? Like if you're going to go above 10, like imagine it's a funded account. Like let's just imagine it's a funded account, right? So you can only lose 10% of your account, right? Can you guys risk manage 20 losses? Some people are saying yes. To Nero Dom, shout out to you, bro. I know for a fact that's a yes because I know how that boy manages his money. I know he follows very strict rules. I've seen the rules. I've seen the trading plan. Shout out that boy. He's got his plan is like mine. It's very detailed. If this, then that statements everywhere. I like it. Get the bag said 2% each. So technically, bro, you would be out at the 10% rule. So most people are saying no. Again, so what that tells me, guys, is that you don't have a systematic plan for when you're on a string of losses. Because I'll tell you right now, if you take your first loss and you lose 1%, then so be it. If you take a second loss and you lose 1%, then so be it. If you take a third loss, you lose 1%, so be it. But that fourth trade, if you're still risking 1%, then you don't have a detailed money management plan, because as you begin to extend your losing streak, you should be reducing risk. And even 1%, you guys know 1% is like that. Like it's kind of crazy if I'm risking that on a funded. Usually it's 0.50, 0.25, fractions of a percent. So I can really go on these loss streaks, but again, if you have 3 losses in a row, that fourth trade, you should be looking to like get your groove back in, not to recoup the losses. So as you extend that losing streak, your risk should also decrease, and not because you quite literally are out of money in your account, because that could be a possibility, right? You take 4 losses, you blow your account, you have to trade smaller. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking a systematic process to actually doing that. So yeah, hopefully you guys have that structured. For those of you guys that said no, that is stuff that we will work on you guys with in the master classes and stuff like that. Because you guys definitely need those plans. I need to make my plan more detailed. That, yeah, absolutely. Your plan should be as detailed as possible. And that doesn't mean you immediately have to make a crazy detailed plan. You can tweak it as you go on. That's how it gets detailed. Or you take 5 losses and you're like, damn, like this is just not working. Like I'm losing too much. I need to set some sort of rule that allows me to, reduce my losses after a certain point. Let me see. I shorted Euro again. Yeah, I just seen that EU kind of, because I just seen what it did. It came back down. I mean, it hasn't really done anything too crazy, but it did just have a spike down. So, again, if it begins to close back into this range, those shorts might be good. I'm still riding my gold shorts. Granted, these have done a whopping nothing. I actually re-added onto my trade here, too. So, let me just add a secondary P&L tracker here, because I did add to my position up here. Again, same stop loss, but again, this doesn't really look like it's looking to hold, So we'll have to see what happens here. But yeah, if you went re-short on EU, you should be at the very least blue. But we definitely didn't call that, so that's all you, my guy. That has nothing to do with us. So shout out to you. Breakdown of that 0.5% for 10%. No, what I'm saying is, like, I only, typically on a funded account, guys, especially when I'm already live, if I'm passing the challenge, I'll be a little bit more degenerate. I'll be real. I'll risk 1-2% because I'm trying to pass that stuff quick. I'm not trying to sit there for 45 days and get funded, especially when I can fund my own accounts the same size. There's no reason for me to do that. But when I'm on the actual live account, you have to risk manage it to a point where you can actually sustain it over some months. So I typically would risk about 0.5% on most of my trades. Because, again, like, if you look at my risk-to-reward ratio, even on trades like this where, I mean, this is a 1 to 2.4, but I'm technically looking for lower than that. But, I'm averaging 1 to 4, if not 1 to 10s, and when they run, 1 to who even knows what. So, for me, like, that 0.5% risk is fine because if anything, I lose 0.5%. If anything, I gain about 2%. And then I only need 5 trades to make 10% consecutive wins anyway. So, yeah, there's really no reason to risk above 1% on a funded account. I think, if you're doing that, I don't know. It just makes no sense. Like, if you're risking 2% on a funded account, like, you're really only giving yourself, like, 1 trade a day. Because 3 trades and you lost your account. Right? 2 trades and slippage, you probably lost your account. Right? 2 trades and some bad math, you probably lost your account. Because 2%, 4%, that's too easy to lose that extra 1% on some nonsense. And it just gives you no opportunity to kind of retrade. So yeah, for those people that are risking above 1% on funded accounts, I don't know what the again, I don't know what the reason for that is. Again, if you're taking 1 trade a day, okay, maybe, but most people are not. 10% divided by 20 equals 0.5%. Yeah, technically speaking, yeah. Again, numbers are not that perfect in the markets, but let's see. I kid you not. I made my first actual plan on December 12th. One guy was like, if you don't have an actual trading plan, you're not serious about this. Yeah, I will continue to say that. If you don't have a trading plan, family, you're not serious about trading. This is a hobby to you. Some of us trade professionally, right? That's what I do. I consider myself a professional. I keep great documentation. These days, everything's recorded here on YouTube, which is nice because I don't really have to, like, journal like I used to because I just come on here and I rewatch the streams and, that is my journal. I could just clip things from here, and I could just add that to my sheets, which is nice. And I urge you guys to do the same thing. If you're doing your own analysis, family, if you really want to get good, right? If you really want to get good, what you need to do is, as you're doing your analysis, come up to here on TradingView and hit this publish button and hit record video idea. And as long as you have a microphone, you could do this, but just record yourself literally on TradingView, marking up your chart. Say, like, okay, I see liquidity here, so I want to wait for a swipe of that. I'm going to run my stop loss at the high. These are my reasons for entering. Here's a fundamental news that could impact it. And then you just, when that trade idea gets recorded, You know, you just set it as private, copy the link, put it in your trade journal that you guys, got from us if you guys signed up for the masterclass. And then you have video documentation. And when you go back to watch it, it's not just a chart. You could actually hear yourself break it down, and you could learn where your mistakes were, and you could hear the confidence in your voice. And there's a lot of power to that. And again, for those of you that are serious, that are trying to be professionals, that's what you'll do. For those of you guys that are hobbyists, maybe you don't care about it that much. And if that's the case, if you're not seeing the results you want, that might be why. There's a lot of work to become profitable. It's not just I have my basic strategy and I'm gonna go push buttons. Usually it's not that easy. Could I look at GA and give my thoughts? Yeah, Tammy, I got you. You know that. Absolutely. Let's take a look at GA. Now, GA is not a pair that I trade, so I might have to take a look at the weekly. Let me just clear this chart. So let's take a look at this and see what's going on. All right, so GA has been rallying ever since this wick here. Let's just see if this wick took out anything major. Not really. Came close, but it's just built up a liquidity. Obviously, that's mad far away, so I'm not going to concern myself with that too much. All right, so first things first, we do technically have like a little bit of a shift in structure here. Right, so from this wick, we've actually began to clear some highs. The first thing I really want to look at is, I know a lot of people are going to call this a change of character, right? Some people are going to look at this as a change of character. That's the new age smart money concept traders are going to just call it that regardless, very simply because of pure structure. We're going to look at the volume, though, to make sure it's actually a valid change of character. So if we take a look at this, it does happen on decent buy volume. It's superseding all these sell volume. So I will say it's pretty valid. It didn't supersede these two, which realistically you kind of want to see that. But it's already spent so much time working out supply and demand up here that, again, as long as it remains higher than the sell volume, I will consider this valid. Another thing I want to look at on the weekly here is going to just be this candle, because this is where I would fully expect, this range to get liquidated before we continue. So right away, the most obvious level I'm going to play on this time frame is maybe this 173, basically 174 area. So let's just drop this time frame down. We're probably not going to see too much different on the daily. Again, we can kind of readjust this line now because I want to, refine it here on the daily. Again, what do I see here? There's probably some clear liquidity buildup. There's no really sweep of this. We didn't even take this candle. So we haven't really grabbed any demand. So maybe this does have some more down before it does ultimately go up. Again, these are higher time frames though. I do see that down here, there was a little bit of liquidity buildup that we grabbed, but we'll have to inspect that again as we move the time frame down. Technically on the daily and weekly, there is still some possibility for some openness to the downside. So let's come down to the 4 hour, because I do want to inspect this little range that we're kind of forming right now, because I already have my areas that if price does want to come down to, I expect where to target. So I don't need to break down the daily chart too much more. But I want to take a look at this, because again, this is interesting, because again, you have these, equal lows, right? This liquidity here that kind of got built up, and it actually got ran on multiple times. So this was liquidity, right, that turned into a check mark. I'm going to just do it that way so you guys can, again, see that I would be looking at that as pent-up liquidity. So we did get that taken in this area here. And I'm going to just go down to the 2 hour real quick. And is this a low that I want to maybe trade off of? Because, again, like this, it took liquidity and it built up more liquidity and then took it again. So now we're just going to take a look again. Like, is this, shift in structure here valid, right? Is the break above here, does this have a lot of strength? Again, I'm going to look at my volume to come to that conclusion. Volume here, not really that high. There's way more volume all throughout the range. So it's not too convincing. But what I will say is after we made this, we had a lot of sell volume come in. So it's possible that this is actually working out to be absorption. And maybe more buy volume will come in as we begin to clear, like these highs. So I'm probably still going to lean to the bullish side because the sellers really did try to bring price back down here with a lot of effort. and they failed. And then again, it built up liquidity, swept the liquidity, and all this fun stuff on lower time frames. So I probably would still look to continue, bullish for at least for the current moments here on this. I don't know if I see an entry though that you could actually execute off of. Yeah, I think if I wanted to play this the smartest way, because you're gonna pop above this. The pop above this is clear. It's just, are you want to grab an entry before that or not? 5 minute. Yeah, so I think the way that I would play this is I would look for buys around this area here. Maybe we can get like under these little lows. I mean, even possibly under here, but until I see price come down here, that might be a little iffy. But I would look at something like this. You know, it depends on what you're looking for this. The safest thing to do would be to run your stop loss. You guys know me, though. I would be trading off current action here. So once this kind of comes down and forms like a smaller 5-minute range, we would wait for like our OBs and our actual execution time frames. So I would be looking to like refine my risk in this area. But, for the idea, let's just, run this like this. Because these do look like pretty decently strong lows. I mean, they took this liquidity. It's holding market structure. Yeah, I would, based off current information, assume these to hold. So I'd be okay with my stop loss below that. Again, I would expect to pop above here because there's just a bunch of pent-up liquidity from the range, and we want to trade away from the check marks, to an hourglass, which I know I don't have on the time frame, but I would look at this to at least come back up to this pocket here. So you're looking at like a 1 to 6. Again, it's really going to depend on how it reacts here. Maybe you could get a little bit better of an entry. Again, I don't particularly trade this pair, so I'm not going to monitor it. But that's what I would look at. Now, if you don't get this pullback before breaking up, or like say this just doesn't pull back at all and this does just pop, at that point you're going to have to play whatever sort of reaccumulation happens up here. So, maybe it pulls up. Again, maybe you get that nice buying volume, but you're going to have to wait for like the next cycle before you can play it. So yeah, I'd be looking at maybe in case you can't see the price because of the resolution, I would be looking at like 17560, with the idea that we're gonna hold 175, 15, and again, I would be looking to target at least for the shorter term, this 17831. And then realistically, I mean, this is just first TP. I would expect all of these highs to get taken as we come to fill out this inefficiency, this imbalance, this fair value gap. So yeah, that's how I would break down GA. Again, I know on the daily and the weekly, again, I talked about this level here, but we can, again, this is a daily and a weekly, right? So this can still pop, liquidate all this, play up into the inefficiency before it comes down here, right? So I have to make sure that this range is valid, and it does look valid. So waiting for this level down here may not be like the wisest, because you might be sitting there and actually waiting for a very long time for that to happen. But yeah, that's how I would break down GA, which is a pair that I don't particularly trade from a weekly down. 1% of the total funded account or 1% of the max drawdown amount? That's actually a good question. Technically, you should be doing it off the max drawdown amount, but that's going to be a lot harder to pass. I use the full account, but you should be full aware that you only really have 10% of the account to play with. But yeah, so if I was trading off, if I was just risking off of the 10%, so if I was going to say if you have a 100K account, right? So if you have a $100,000 funded account, you really only have, 10% drawdown that you're allowed on the account. So realistically, you have $10,000, right? So if I was going to do, and I usually do my math off the 100,000. So I'm doing the math off the 100,000, then I'm always risking less than 1%, right? Because I know in reality I'm risking more. If I was going to do the math off the 10,000, in that case, yeah, you would probably see me risking, 2%, 3% per trade, because at that point it's vastly different, right? Up here, your 2% would be like $2,000. Down here, 2% would be like $200. So it's two drastically different things. I usually go off the higher amount, and I just do my math with a lower number. That's why you see me risking 0.25% instead of 2%, Why? Because it's 1/10 of that. It's the same thing. It's like if I did 2% of this. So, yeah, that's how I would work that out, bro. But actually, that's a fantastic question because most people don't even know to even consider that. Made my own little log on Discord, made my own server, and I send my screenshots and markups with notes and updates. That's a good idea too. A lot of my stuff is saved on Telegram. I use these saved messages on Telegram when I we used to use Telegram heavy. I used to just talk in chats, and I would forward it to my saved messages, so I would always have my analysis that I can kind of reference and go back to. So yeah, Eric, you were definitely on goal, bro. But the journal is yeah, for P&L, looking at like the actual success of the trades. Yeah, 1,000%, bro. Eric, my guy, you really gonna trust me, bro. You really gonna see amazing success, bro. Because you put in the work. You're always a student, bro. You're actually documenting. I don't even know if you consider yourself profitable now, but I wouldn't be surprised if you are. Looks bullish. Yeah, GA does look bullish. That lone candle for the buy on the 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, it's more or less the same area. More or less the same area. Trouble not knowing how to write a trading plan. I mean, listen, it's stuff that we go over a lot. Just chill with us, hang out with us, join that masterclass on Friday, and you're gonna see how exactly how we put plans together for sure. Just keep hanging around. Keep asking questions. Ask for tips. That's what we're here for. Kyle, Abel, Ray, you guys have anything you want to go over, say, contribute?
I'm
Boy, it's
just chilling.
quiet
I'm
today.
looking for the next opportunity. I'm finally back home, so now I can actually get in front of my computer and see what the hell's going on.
Bet you want to share a screen, or you still kind of looking on the hunt?
Hey, I'm just on the hunt right now. I mean, the
Okay.
only thing that I was considering taking, and this is definitely a little bit more of a high risk type of setup, was possibly going long GJ, which I know is probably something you're not a fan of, but
I
uh,
recently took partials on GJ, so I do expect it to pull back. So I'm probably with you, just not as far as you want to take it, probably. But I
yeah,
did scale out of my GJ sells, so I'm only holding partial positions now.
yeah, I don't know. I was just looking at it to see how we were going to play off of this level right here, 158, 800, and it's been holding pretty solidly so far. And if that does hold, then I mean, I see price probably coming all the way back up to the 166 levels if this level does actually hold the way I think it could. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm expecting it to pull back at least to 160, like 40 maybe at the most. I know you're looking at 166, which I definitely wish you luck on. Obviously, for certain reasons, I'm not gonna not gonna hope too hard, but yeah, I definitely
Once,
see the potential reversal from here. I don't know if you want to share your screen and show exactly what you're looking at.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but yeah, sure. He's got to make me host.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, you just got home. Okay, there you go, brother.
All right. So, I mean, pretty much what I'm looking at is very simple. I don't know. The strength that we had yesterday was very aggressive, right? And just pretty much what like I was talking about. The data itself did come out extremely negative for the yen as a whole. Just because they, again, in the reports, they said that they're going to continue to actually ease. And in fact, they believe with the course that they're on, they're going to be able to get inflation even under 2%, right? Which is kind of crazy to even think about, right? But again, this is just stuff that's coming out of their mouths, the Bank of Japan, their policies that they're going to continue to implement. So with all of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up continuing the momentum that we did see, right? That this move right here could have been the start of something, that ends up like this, just playing off of, again, the fundamentals more than anything, right? Just relying on the fundamentals, relying on what the Bank of Japan actually ended up saying. So things like that's the reason why I'm even considering looking for some long positions now. And just the fact that we came back down into a very interesting, level of structure as well. Now, the reason why I'm being a little bit cautious with this level is because this level is a little bit too I don't want to say obvious, but it is a little bit too obvious, right? And when it comes for me personally, like I'm very big on taking trades strictly out either supply zones or demand zones, right? Like I don't really like to take trades unless I'm actually at one of those major levels. So I wouldn't even be surprised. I do think, again, that we probably will eventually go bullish, but I wouldn't be surprised if we actually end up running this level a little bit before we actually go ahead and find that demand, enter back into the market. So that's what I'm really watching. I could very well miss out on this trade because price could just continue going from here. We did see a nice little pop up right now, that could trigger it. And if it does happen, it is what it is, right? Then I'll just have to readjust and figure out a new game plan, right? Because if we see something like this just happen and see now we're, creating new levels of demand that we might be able to go ahead and target instead of relying on price coming much lower. So that's pretty much what I'm looking for. I'm just be very patient. I really didn't trade too much today at all. Yesterday was very interesting to say the least on how everything became extremely volatile. Right. So now for me, it's just more of a waiting period, seeing what, I believe can actually happen and what logically, in my opinion, could actually really occur over time. Right. So yeah, I'm just chilling. That's what I'm looking at. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this, seeing what the market does eventually give us. And then, based on what the market gives us, we'll be able to go ahead and make another, or at least I'll be able to make a decision based off what I get around here. All right. But I'm definitely more so leaning towards bullishness. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm looking at though. UJ, very interesting. UJ itself pretty much ended up correcting that entire big spike up that happened off of the yen news. But that is more so probably just off of the fact that that is actually very interesting how the dollar is still very aggressive to the downside as well. So
That's
yeah,
that's the one I should have went short on. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm just chilling on the sidelines, man. I need a little bit more data now that the markets went absolutely crazy over the past 24 hours or so before I start taking some more shots at the market. Let me even see what's gold doing. I mean, gold is up at these highs. Very interesting level that gold is at right now. All right, very interesting level for sure up at these highs. Is it going to be time for this thing to possibly correct, or is this momentum going to just continue to hold through? All right, and then we just see something like that. Very possible either way. EU, really not doing too much. I mean, we did just sweep the highs over here at EU, so maybe we might see some selling pressure potentially enter the markets, possibly even if it's just for more of a short-term play back down to these lows. That is possible. But even that, we're still a little risky, I think. I mean, it's not too bad actually, this EU now that how it's forming and stuff. Interesting. Yeah, so again, I'm on the sidelines, guys, right? I really am on the sidelines today. If I could find something that's super clear, then we'll go ahead and we'll take the trade, we'll push the button. If not, then we'll just be able to come back tomorrow on Friday and see if we could finish out the week strong. Wait, tomorrow's Thursday, right? So we'll still be able to come back either later on tonight for Asian session, see what the market does. Even maybe tomorrow morning. But today, I'm just really not seeing nothing that's clear as day for me to personally jump in. So I'm going to be patient and I'm going to be chilling overall. But that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm still holding my gold shorts. EU again looks like it formed a UTAD. I got. I should have saw that coming. I mean, I did see it coming, and I still let it happen to me, which is just it's my own fault. So
this doesn't look too bad.
No, it looks great. I mean, it's way more worth the risk now than it was when we took it before. Especially with the way gold's looking still, I still think it has potential.
This thing has just been playing so much. Like, it looks like a good entry too. I think it's worth it.
I mean, I won't lie. I re-entered when it was above the range.
Oh,
I won't
man.
sit here and try to act like I'm not in it. But yeah, my entry is 7.5. I gotta be honest though. I did something I normally don't do. It's like, cause I went short on it before when I took that loss, and it was like on a standard, and like it annoyed me so much that I knew I should have waited. That I dropped two on the
Oh, whoa.
so I kind of doubled up on my risk. But again, I have the equity to play, so like I'm not, it might sound risky, but it's not as risky if you saw my account balance. It's true, like it's it's
I
still
also
it's
want to
still a
let you
small
guys.
percentage, family. But I did get a little aggressive. Abel, there are some pairs that people want to go over in the chat. I don't know if you want to maybe do any of them, or if you're gonna continue to stalk that GJ.
I mean, yeah, I'll take a quick look at it, but I'm definitely gonna be eyeing this GJ. I'm interested, man. Like, I don't know. This thing, I just think this thing could really make its move higher. But all right, let me see. Can I ask Senor Sauce his longest streak? I believe that is me. So, I mean, if we're talking about like in my earlier trading days, like I went through some pretty disgusting losing streak. All right, probably lost, 20, 30 times in a row. Again, I can't obviously remember. It was 6, 7, 8 years ago now, right? But I've taken some absolutely disgusting losing streaks. Like there was times, guys, where like the losing streaks would last not just for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Like I felt like I was losing for months at a time back in the day, right? When I first initially started. And not even just when I first started, right? Within my first 2 years, it was literally nonstop losing, right? So I just experienced so many damn losses. It was actually kind of crazy because then I got kind of accustomed to losing, right? Like it was so many losses back to back that every single time I took a trade, I automatically already expected it to lose, right? Just because it became like a habit of me losing. So I don't know exactly how many, like, or how long the longest losing streak has been, but just know it was pretty disgusting back in the day, right? Like I'm talking about months at a time, not getting nothing, no withdrawals, no gains in the account. I mean, I went through a whole period, guys, where and I swear to everything I love, right? Like this is actually facts and like factual stuff that I'm telling y'all, right? Like I went through a period in time where for almost a year straight, I would literally deposit money in my account by Friday or by Thursday, Friday, because that's when I used to get paid at the job that I was at. But then by Monday or Tuesday, my entire account will be blown, right? Like literally funded on Friday, blown by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? I couldn't even go an entire week, right? Like an entire week without blowing my account back in the day. All right. But that's because again, uh I was so hungry to get the results that I wanted to, because back then I was really just having that I was going through that point in time where I wanted to be like everybody else, right? And I'm pretty sure some of you guys can relate to this, right? Where you see people on social media, you see these traders making all this money, right? And I wanted to do that, right? So I was really comparing myself to a lot of traders that already had a lot more experience that I did, right? And because of that, I would constantly do things that I knew better than to do. Like I would do things that I knew I shouldn't be doing, but I was so hungry to try to compete with everybody that didn't even know who the hell I was. I ain't even really know them through a hole in the wall. Right. I was just trying to compete and try to really compare my results to everybody else's. And that kept me very undisciplined. Right. So that's just me being transparent with you guys. I had a very tough first 2 years. I lost easily high 5 figures in my first 2 years, but it was because of my lack of discipline. And it was because of me trying to compare to everybody else. Right? Like those are probably the two biggest reasons why I experienced massive losing streaks. Nowadays, right, if we fast forward to today, though, I have very strict rules around money management, right, that allow me to minimize it, right? Like you guys, I mean, for those of you guys that don't know, right, I have a very strict rule when it comes to how much I'm risking per setup, right? I don't risk more than 2% per setup, and that's max, right? And if I'm risking 2% on an opportunity, then that's going to be one of those low risk, high reward type of trades, right? One of those that are actually what I consider a plus type of setup. But then if I have, some more mid risk or, some high risk type of opportunities, then I'm lowering the amount of risk that I'm actually going to be putting in the markets nowadays, right? But I risk 2% per trade max, but I also have a rule, where I'm trading 5% max per day, all right, where I don't lose more than 5% in a day. So if I take 2 trades at 2% and 1 trade at 1%, I mean, that's really only going to be 3 trades. So if I lose all 3 of those, then it will be just 3 losses for an entire day, right? And usually I'm able to bounce back in the next day, and I'm able to go ahead and now see some type of, at least some type of a win. But yeah, I've been able to really figure out ways to manage my trades to where I don't allow losing streaks to go too crazy nowadays. All right, and that's something that we all have to create, right? Create those rules for yourself. Like, how much are you willing to risk per trade? How much are you, not even per trade, right? But per setup, all right? That's the word I really like to use. How much are you risking per setup? How much are you risking per day? And also, how much are you going to be risking per week? Like max risk for those things, right? And actually be disciplined to those. All right, but yeah, that's just me being transparent with y'all for sure. Let's see, that was me a few months ago. That is still me. Got tired of that. You just got to get tired. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Everybody experiences that, guys, right? Don't ever think that anybody's journey to profitability was just all sunshines and rainbows, right? Because that's not what it is. That's actually the unrealistic expectation that we give ourselves when we begin trading. And that's also a big reason why we don't get the results that we're looking for, right? It's because we put these unrealistic expectations on ourselves when we're learning. It is going to be a process, right? Every single profitable trader that I know that's actually living off of trading, they have a bunch of stories to tell, right? Like a whole bunch of, losses and negative experiences that they had to get through in order for them to get to the point that they're at now. I truly believe, guys, that if you have not really went through a losing streak just yet and it's just strictly wins, then you're going to be in for a rude awakening when you finally go through one. All right. Because it's not a matter of if you actually go through a losing streak. Everybody goes through it. It's how you bounce back, right? Are you able to actually bounce back from it? 90% of traders, once they start experiencing those first big losses or those first losing streaks, they're not able to bounce back at all. Right. And then they're just stuck in their emotions every single time that they're trading now because of that experience that they might have had. Where the professional traders, they experience some crazy things, right? Whether it's massive losses, massive blown accounts, whether it's just consistent, losing streaks, but they're also always able to identify the problem, identify why it happened, have awareness to it, and they're also able to go ahead and just adapt and change and move forward, right? So I truly don't believe you're an actual real trader until you've experienced a losing streak or two, and you're able to bounce back from that and actually go back to being profitable, right? So that's just my opinion at the end of the day. Let's see. It feels like trading is so different for everyone. What really matters is the way you manage the trade, not execution. 100%. I mean, and that's the thing that most people do not talk about, right? Is how are you actually managing those positions, right? Because identifying the opportunity is one thing, but managing that opportunity correctly, managing your position correctly, right? Actually managing your risk correctly, right? Which is going to be, how you play. All that stuff is so important, right? But so many people are just focused on, oh, let me get this entry. Let me get this entry. All right, but you get the entry, then what? What's the process after you get the entry? Right? Where's your exits going to be at? How are you going to manage this position? Right? Are you going to move stops to break even at a certain point? Or are you going to just continue to hold that thing out? Right? When the trade goes in your direction, when are you going to actually start partialing out of positions? All right? Like, what is your thought process for that? Right? We have to be able to have a detailed process when it comes to managing our trades. All right? Because if you don't have those processes in place, then you're going to just be trying to manage it based off your emotions and how you feel, right? Based on what the market is doing at that period of time. And that is not a way to actually become profitable, right? That's only going to hurt you in the long run more than anything. Let's see. 45 likes with 116 watching. Yeah, guys, we definitely need to go ahead and get these likes up, by the way, man. Like, I don't know. We're going to have to start, guys, you got to start bringing back the goals at the beginning of the streams, bro. Like, set the goals for everybody. Listen, we need 100 likes on this stream. That is the goal. We can all accomplish it together. All right. But yeah, we definitely need to get these likes up a lot more, family, just so, it does help us out. We try to come on here and we try to provide you guys next level information, just not surface level stuff that most other communities are providing. Like, we try to go ahead and give you guys the best of the best value. All right. Like, I'm a very big component, guys, of giving you guys the absolute best sauce. Why? Because we actually know a lot more sauce too, right? One of my mentors said, if you're scared to give away your best sauce, then you don't know enough just yet, right? All of us on this call are very, very knowledgeable, and we know so much when it comes to trading, because trading involves so many different variables that we're comfortable with giving you guys the best of the best value, like that real sauce, like that real stuff that you guys can go ahead and take today and go ahead and start to implement it. And all we ask in return, family, is a simple smash of the like button. Right? We're not asking for no money. We're not asking for none of that. Just simply smash the button, because, it does help us out tremendously with the algorithm that YouTube, has created for, channels and stuff like that. Right. So That's the only thing that we would ever ask you guys, as a favor, is just simply smash the like button, be subscribed if you're not too, because all that stuff definitely plays out. Let's see. The best way to learn discipline is experience. 100%. I 100% agree with you, Christian. Let's see. I find myself lacking in discipline, but I remind myself that if I stray from the plan, discipline is probably one of the biggest reasons why most people do not succeed in trading, right? Is their lack of discipline, right? Because we can say one thing. We can tell you guys to not over leverage. We can tell you guys to have a trading plan. We can tell you guys to follow your rules. We can tell you guys to control your emotions. But when you're actively looking at the charts, right, and it's not when you're on calls with us, because we're always talking about this, but when you're trading by yourself and you're locked in your office, you're locked in your room, and you see an opportunity, right? Are you actually being disciplined, yes or no? Now, whether most of you guys want to agree to it or not, I'm pretty sure 95 of us on this call right now that's listening to my voice are all struggling, not just because of your lack of ability to understand technicals, but more so is probably your lack of discipline, right? Your lack of discipline is one of the biggest reasons why most people do not see succeed. Again, I'm literally proof of that. I'm proof of that, right? My whole first few years, it wasn't because I didn't know how to mark up a chart. I felt like I was the best when it comes to technicals back in the day, right? But it was literally just simply off of my discipline. I had a problem with being disciplined, and it was really just over leveraging. I had a problem with over leveraging. I just could not stop myself from over leveraging, right? I have $500 in my account. Oh man, just this one trade, I could throw a standard lot. Just this one trade, and it's that one trade that ends up going in the wrong direction and ends up blowing the entire account, right? So it's the lack of discipline that's really keeping people from not seeing the profitability that they could truly go ahead and obtain. All right. So again, you want to be able to be disciplined, guys. And this also comes back to even real life, right? Even real life, right? I know something. This is something that Skaggs told me like 4 years ago, right? That always stuck with me, and I've been pushing it ever since, right? Because again, your discipline, guys, comes really down to the habits that you develop, right? The habits that you develop, even when it comes to managing your own funds, your own capital in your bank account, if is going to also dictate on how you manage the funds in your trading account, right? So one thing that he said to me like 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember, it was a while ago, right? He said, listen, man, if you're not able to manage the money in your bank account, like if you're constantly negative in your bank account, or if you're constantly at a very low amount, you constantly have nothing in your account, and you're constantly struggling because of your lack of money management, then that's going to also translate to the charts. Because if you cannot manage the money in your bank account, then how the hell do you think you're going to manage the money in your trading account? Right? If you're not disciplined enough to really manage the money that's in your account, that's actually paying your livelihood, your bills, right? That's keeping your lights on. If you struggle with managing that, then there's no way in hell you're going to be able to manage the money in your trading account, because those habits are going to go ahead and just translate over to y'all, right? Those habits are going to go ahead and be passed down. So it's certain things like that that we really should be focusing on, right? Like actually understanding the importance of money management, even from a basic traditional standpoint. Let's start really managing the funds in our bank account better, right? And I promise you, once you get better at managing funds overall, you're going to realize that you're going to be able to hold your trading accounts for a much longer period of time now, because now you're not doing those undisciplined things that most traders continuously get caught up in. All right. So it all comes back down to your discipline, guys, and the habits that you guys decide to develop throughout the course of this whole process. Let's see what else we got. I hope you guys are really feeling me right now, right? Because we're talking about, this is some gems. Like, this is the stuff that, again, a lot of traders that want to come on here and just simply look for trades, they don't really care for it. But then there's a reason why most traders are not profitable, right? It's because they overlook these type of conversations that we're having. Let's see what else we got here. Brother O says, y'all don't try nothing. Y'all do. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Are you taking this GJ? So I'm just watching it. I'm looking at it. Again, I really would love to see it come down to this demand zone down here. Like, that's really where I would have loved to see it reach. But depending on how we react off of these levels here, right, it may be opportunity. You might be able to grab something. It's just, again, it's still going to be a little bit risky for me to take, the trade right here, because technically speaking, all we're doing is creating these lower lows and these lower highs right here in this correction, right? We don't have no real evidence just yet that the overall market is going to shift, or that the market did change, in order for us to get in. Like, maybe if we would have broke above this high right here, right, I would have had a lot more confident, right? Because now we're starting to see actual breaks of structure, but we still didn't get that, right? So this could very well still go ahead and go lower into the area that I really am interested in. Okay, so I'm really interested down here, but I'm going to watch to see how price plays up here, because if we can get a decent reaction off of this, and that could lead, to more upside, right? But I'm not in this position just yet, guys. I'm literally just watching. I'm waiting. I'm about to see what price does, and then, if it gives us a nice signal to jump in, we'll get it. If not, then it's going to continue going lower, and then we'll just look for it around this 158 level. Let's see. By the way, me splurging out due to emotions hasn't happened in a while. And yesterday when I got slipped on GJ, I laughed it off and told myself I'm never setting another limit again. Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to do it, Eric. I mean, it is what it is, right? Don't ever allow guys. And I know it's tough, right? Especially when there's a thing, right? I talk about this a lot. There's a difference between having a good loss or having a bad loss, right? There's two different things. If you're taking trades, guys, and if you're taking losses on positions that you actually followed your rules on, like to the T, right? Like all your rules were met and you followed it, you followed proper risk, you didn't over leverage, and you took a loss, and that's a good loss, right? You have to just accept it, right? Allow the markets to win that battle. Like mentally, allow the markets to actually get that W. Mentally, what we do, though, is we don't try to accept the fact that the market just won that battle, right? And we're trying to justify what happened. No, the markets just won. You followed your rules, though. So, yeah, the market won, but you also won as well. Right now, Abel, how did I just win, bro, if you just said I took a loss? Well, you won because you're doing what 95% of other traders are not doing, and you're following your rules. That's a win. That's a massive win. All right, so we have to understand how important those wins are, those good wins are, guys, and we have to just take it with stride and understand that the market is going to get their wins. All right, the market is going to win some battles. It is what it is. But then we have a bad loss, which I'm pretty sure you guys know what the hell a bad loss is, right? A bad loss is those losses that come after we don't follow our rules, right? When we're not being disciplined, when we're over leveraging, when we're taking trades not based off logic, but based off hope, and then it ends up not going in our favor. That is a bad loss. And yeah, you should feel a way about a bad loss because you know better than to take that trade. But even then, feel a way about it, have awareness and have the discipline to change, and then go ahead and get back in the markets and just continue to think logically and follow your rules.
And just to piggyback off that for a second, you guys just watched me take a bad loss on EU, right? That is a bad loss because I knew better. I even said it. I was like, it's building up liquidity. It's probably going to take the high. And what did I do? I still went into the trade. So again, for me, that's a bad loss. Again, that's also why I ended up re-entering, because I actually ended up getting my actual confirmations for that trade. Now I'm break even on it, and we'll see what happens with that first trade. Again, by Abel's definitions, there is a bad trade because I suspected something, but I didn't, fully wait. I didn't wait to see the wick fill. I didn't wait to see if we were going to pop the main supply. And again, that's a bad loss for me, again. And I do feel, like he said, I do feel a type of way about it because, again, it's just a way to avoid unnecessary losses. Like that 8 up, I just closed profits on GJ, but now I have this EU loss. It's like, so like instead of making, whatever it was I was supposed to make, like $1,000, I only made, like $350 because, I took this really unnecessary, EU loss. Now, obviously, I'm still in EU on a re-entry I'm up on, and I still have more GJ positions, and at the end of the day, it's still net, net profits. But yeah, it's a great point, bro, and I love that you went into that, because that's one of my favorite things that you kind of go over, the good and the bad losses.
I mean, we got to be able to accept them, right? And the reason why I tell everybody, like, when you take a bad loss, like, nah, you have to feel away, right? But feel away in a sense to where it's going to cause you to change, right? Because what we typically do is we end up taking these bad losses and we try to brush it off as if it's the same as a good loss. Like, those are completely different games, right? And I like what Tay Build Wealth said, right? It's never a loss, always a lesson, right? Well, you got to put it like this. A good loss could be a lesson for sure. But a bad loss, that is just strictly a loss that you need to man up or woman up to and accept and really try to use as a way to grow from. All right. Because if you're just over here taking bad losses on purpose, and I mean, how many lessons do you got to take at this point? All right. Which is what a lot of us do, right? We constantly take these losses doing things that we know we shouldn't be doing. Like, we can't just continuously try to pass blame off just to make it a lesson. Like, no, it was your fault. Like, take blame. Right. Again, as traders, there's nobody in the back of us. There's nobody holding our hand, guys, telling us, what we need to hear, right? We have to be our biggest, accountability partner, since this is literally a game against just you and the markets. It's not you versus nobody else. You don't really have no teammates, and this is a one-on-one sport, one-on-one, me versus the markets. So you have to be your biggest accountability partner at the end of the day. All right. Like, yeah, you should feel away when you take those bad losses, because now you're doing stuff you should not be doing. And you need to take that feeling and use it in a way to actually get you into a better position. All right. That's just how I feel for sure. But besides that, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. I ain't even mean to go on a little bit of a rant, but it's stuff that is super, super important. Again, this is the stuff that people don't want to hear, but this is the stuff that really is going to put you in a position to see success at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm basically just holding out the trades that I'm holding. I'm gonna just quickly share my screen. You can leave yours up if you want, but I'm just gonna go over gold real quick. Again, guys, I am holding this. I haven't quite went break even to this, but I have adjusted my stops from that 1930 level down to 1926. Just because, again, if it goes back above the high of today, then I just kind of don't want to even really deal with it. So that's what I'm kind of looking at there. Again, I have two positions on that. This lower one is too close for me to break even on. So, again, I'll see if it holds. EU, again, if you guys are in it, this is either going to be the peak or, EU's going to continue to run. So we got that sweep. We'll see what happens. GJ I booked, partials on. I do expect it to pull back. I do expect it to come up to this 160, 20 area at the least. And then maybe we can get some re-entries from there. But yeah, family, listen, that's all I really have. I think the boys are good as well. So that being said, family, I'm gonna drop the masterclass link for you guys one more time. Make sure you guys get that seat, really, because by tomorrow you're not gonna be able to secure that seat no more. So either secure it today, or we will see you on Sunday. Or actually, well, technically, I'm sorry, we will actually see you guys tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So we'll actually see you guys tomorrow again, live on stream, 8:30 in the morning. It should already be scheduled out. So family, as always, we love and appreciate you all. This is your boy Skag on behalf of the Prophet Society. We're tuning out. Enjoy the rest of your day.